A spectacular performance. Curry from half court.
Sometimes, something looks like it's been there a while.
Okay, we're here after a very, very long break. Unfortunately, it's been about 2 weeks since our last episode, and I wasn't even there. I was out of country. I was busy doing some important family business. But we're back. But we have no good news. This is gonna be Cope episode number 3 or 2.5. I can't remember. We've definitely had 2 Cope episodes before this.
1.5, and now this is.
I feel like this is like a 2-in-1 Cope because not only or 3-in-1. Our team is sucking. Siakam didn't come to us, and our head one of our coaches died as of a little bit ago. I'm not sure why Thomas is laughing. It's not a funny matter. Rest in peace.
I mean, you lumped it in with like us being bad at basketball.
Rest in peace, Dijon.
This guy died.
Rest in peace,
He's dead.
Dijon.
He's gone.
Rest in peace. Stop. Rest in peace, assistant coach Dijon Milojevic.
So guys, here's a question to start it off. So if you could trade 3 Warriors wins for Dijon his life, would you?
No.
Okay, good. See, 'cause you made it sound like
I would
you
not.
made it sound like they were like of equal
Because
importance. So I
a
was
life is a life. He had a family, he had kids.
damn straight.
And he was actually literally he was 40 something years old, 46, which is
Sucks.
insane, bro.
Absolutely sucks.
It is really, really unfortunate. Rest in peace. They canceled today's game against the Grizzlies. Or sorry, not the Grizzlies. The Jazz. Future Warriors players on there actually. Maybe that's why they canceled
Yes,
it.
sir.
That'd be a blessing in disguise because you get.
Yeah,
What
we're
time?
not getting Laurie Marketing. But anyways, I guess I'll pass a rock over to I always do Wesley. Let me pass it over to Thomas.
I feel like you always do me.
Yeah, that was a joke.
So actually, wait. What's the topic?
I guess what was the last game?
Yeah, just the last I guess the last when you guys recorded the episode without me, what was the games or what was the game that you guys went over?
No, that the last time we recorded was after our win against Orlando, which was immediately followed up by Denver, where things happened.
Woo!
Things happened.
Woo!
That game sucks because it's like it was like basically the best game the Warriors had played for 3 quarters, and then
Been back to
we
back.
lost it anyways. I mean, it literally would have been the high point of the season if we had beaten the defending champs, healthy, coming off of a win. That would have been the high point, and instead it basically turned into the beginning of like a disastrous collapse that has now left us like I think 2 games out of 1.5 games out of the 10 seed. So that sucks.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think a high point would have been if we had beaten the Nuggets the first time we met them. We were on a 5-game winning streak.
Even higher point and even higher high would be winning all their games this season.
Well, true. Even higher point would have been winning the chip last season.
That would have been a high point.
That would have been a high point, but it doesn't seem like that's gonna happen. And I'm gonna say it right now, very openly, it's not gonna happen this season either. We're not gonna win the chip. It's unfortunate. It's a tough pill to swallow because I think we're Warriors fans. That's one big factor. But I think B, we're not used to this feeling. It's not a familiar feeling. Every season there's some sort of an excuse. Okay, well, you could point at XYZ. That's why we struggled this season. Next season we'll be back. Boom, we'll win. And that worked, right? Because 2019 injuries, 2020 injuries, 2021 we did not have Draymond and we didn't have Clay, right?
We didn't have Clay.
We didn't have Clay. Then 2022 after setting all like because of this, we went out there and we won a chip. And we were like, yeah, damn straight. That's what we kept saying. We were missing the key pieces. When they all came together, we won. Then 2023, it was okay, chemistry issues, whatever. Now 2024, what is it? I mean, it's a decline of play. Steph is not really consistent anymore. Like, and I vaguely remember I said this once too, a couple episodes, that I also felt like Steph was also losing it a little bit too. Did I say that a couple episodes ago?
Probably.
I think I did. And I remember you
Yeah,
guys
probably.
and you guys hopped on me then too. Which is fair because at that time he wasn't as inconsistent as he is right now. But I mean, I guess can someone read off his stats over the last couple of games? I don't have them remembered
Okay.
off the top of my head. Against the Grizzlies, he was 26,
He had a good game.
8-4. He did hit a good game.
Last two games have been good. It was
He didn't
New
get to-
Orleans and Toronto. He had back-to-back fucking terrible games. Just like
Terrible game.
not
Yep.
even not even decent. Just terrible.
Yep.
And then I mean again, like, and well, that's the thing with Steph is like this reduced version of him is still basically averaging like 25 on great efficiency.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
we probably need to be averaging 35 on great efficiency to be winning games consistently with everything else as it is right now. Like there is definitely, and I think I was talking about this last episode. There's definitely a very visible difference in the way that a lot of his shots are created now. A lot of his looks are just they're tougher. They're tougher for him to get, and because of that, they're going in less frequently. I mean, like it's not shocking because I mean he's old, right?
That's
Like,
another thing I was about to say.
we just kinda know
He's also turning 36.
but the thing is like you watch him play, and there's a lot of looks where it feels like he would have been able to create more space 2 or 3 years ago than he's creating for himself now.
Exactly.
And I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but there's this thing he does where it almost looks like he's kind of like when he doesn't have that much space, it kind of looks like he's pushing the ball towards
yeah. He's like pushing
Yeah.
it forward.
Yeah, and like that to me, whenever he releases a shot like that, that's how I know it's like, yeah, that one might not go in because again, like
Kind of like his shot,
you're-
kind of against his last 3 against the Celtics. Are you talking about like that where he was? You're talking about like that type of release, right? The last 3 against the Celtics, the
I
dagger
think
one.
so. Well, that one went in.
True. But still, it was like a. I get what you're saying. Where it's not.
You know, I mean,
releasing
he's
up,
flinging it, and he's flinging it
Yeah.
because there's nothing. The offense isn't generating anything else, and he can't create space on a whim like he could 2 or 3 years ago. Even though sometimes he does still, but it's not as automatic for him, and he's leading to a lot of very very difficult looks even for him. And it's the exact same thing I said last episode before we had gone 2-5 over our last 7 games, and I think it's only gotten worse. And his superhuman shooting ability can only bail him out of so many impossible shots from like 32 feet.
I mean, it's just with Clay where he's not getting as much lift as he once used to. I mean, it's way more consistent with Clay that he's not getting lift like any shot. I mean, Steph, it's kind of like hit or miss. He'll make a tough shot versus like just airball the tough
Yeah.
shot. I think like the biggest problem, like in our mountain of problems with this whole season, I think it culminates with our defense being like pretty atrocious and like we
Yeah,
have no
that's
personnel, like especially with GP2 out with injuries, Draymond out with suspensions, Wiggins just like mentally being out. Like we don't really have the personnel to like actually defend like in transition in the half court like at all. And then when our shot selection is bad, then that leads to transition. If we're not hustling, then it's just like that's how a team like Memphis without Ja, Desmond Bain, or a few other guys I'm missing, but they were not healthy and they cooked us with like JJJ as their best player. And it was awful. I forget the guy that like kind of cooked us, but they're just younger and they had
They're a
more hustle.
rookie, right? They're rookie.
GG something. What's his
G.G.
name?
Jackson, I think.
GG Jackson. Yeah.
And like Steph got ripped like twice, I'm pretty sure, and close to the clutch, which is kind of like that's your best player into getting out hustled by like rookies who just have more like I don't know. I mean, it's probably just because they're newer to the league where they have more hustle, more drive to win, and they kind of feel like their backs are against the wall where we're not really feeling that desperation really at this point, unfortunately, because we have like a solid team, but I don't know, like our personnel is not really there to defend well, especially with Draymond out. You know, it's just kind of it's unfortunate, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
In all
like
our
I'm like
like our identity was our defense. Like 2022,
exactly.
15, they were all great defenses. Obviously, Steph's a great offensive player, but we had Draymond, Iguodala, like Clay was an all defensive player, and now we don't really. And Wiggins when in 22, so we don't really have those guys. Siakam was supposed to be that guy that would be like a solid all defensive guy alongside Draymond, but we might have to settle for Laurie, I guess, at best. You
I
know?
don't even think we're getting
I
Lowry
mean-
though, to be honest. Because it's like, what again? It's the same problem as that. What do we offer them?
A lot of
Picks,
first
a
round
lot of
picks.
picks, but like, so first of all, what picks would we offer them? I guess that's my first question. Like in specifics, do we know which specific picks we
Well,
have?
Well, in the NBA, teams
I
are
think it was
awarded one
right.
first round pick every year based on where they finish in the standings. So the Warriors would probably be awarded those picks in accordance with league rules. And if we were going to make a trade, we'd probably offer them those picks.
But I think
Right.
Kaminga,
Okay. So you're saying basically you're saying
I'm just saying we would offer them the Warriors picks. The Warriors have not,
so
thankfully.
we don't have any other
they have
picks.
not.
That was my basic question. Like
No,
obviously I know
we
that
don't.
we
Well,
get
yeah,
our
why would
picks.
we? Why?
I-
That's why I was. That's the joke I was making.
Obviously we get picks from the league. I understand that. I'm saying, do we have any other picks? Like any other valuable
I'm
picks?
very certain we don't. I mean,
Yeah,
the
so that
Warriors
was my
really, in
question.
the last
brother.
couple of years. Okay, well, I think it was a pretty good bit. I think it was a pretty good joke. Anyways,
I mean,
God,
Kaminga
if
was
you Google, if you Google Warriors picks, you know what you get? A bunch
What?
of fucking gambling bullshit.
So we
mean-
actually have. So okay, actually, it's funny. We have
2025.
2025 second round pick from Charlotte. Then we have a 2026 second round from Atlanta, and then we have a 2028 second round from Atlanta as well. I wonder from
We've
which
been
trade.
stacking up the assets. We've been piling them up.
So
We
basically,
gotta give a treasure trove for Laurie.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We don't even have that many valuable picks, to be
I
honest.
mean, yeah, the first that we have are all the Warriors firsts. So
and I don't think those are super duper valuable.
I mean,
it depends. It depends on how an opposing front office evaluates the Warriors' future. I mean, if you offer them, for example, like a 2027 pick, I think there's a lot of front offices who would correctly assess that that's going to be a lottery pick. Which, by the way, I wouldn't even be mad at. Like, the Warriors can be a lottery team in 2027, but not this year.
Actually, that's true. With Steph, we're literally the 11th or 12th seed. Without
Yeah,
him,
like, that's-
Lord have mercy. 2027.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
so that's the point. Is that like
but I think it more
these
depends
picks,
on-
especially for a team like the Jazz that are like in for the long haul in this rebuild. Like they haven't even yet gotten rid of. I mean, again, like the other thing with the Jazz is like it's not like with the Raptors. It was basically guaranteed they were going to trade Siakam. Like everybody knew it. It made sense for them. With the Jazz, it's a little bit more fluid. Like it probably makes sense for them to trade him, but he's good enough and he's young enough that if there wasn't a good offer coming in, they wouldn't mind sticking with him. So I mean, the unfortunate thing
I
is
mean, yeah,
that
he's
might
only
probably gonna drive
26.
his
He's
value up even
only
more.
26 years old.
He's only 26.
So even let's say they're doing a rebuild or whatever, he's a good piece, one, and you could have him for like 4 years at least because he's 30 in 4 years. I mean, he could definitely still be a veteran role in a rebuild.
personally very good in 4 years. But I think it
Absolutely,
more-
that's a
Yeah,
prime.
no, he will be.
I think it more depends on who else is bidding. Like if there's rumors that OKC might be willing to make a big splash to try to make a deep playoff run, even though the roster's
Ooh.
solid.
And they're
but
beating us. They're beating us. There's no
They
way
would
we
have
give
beat
an
us.
offer better than OKC.
kind of just at their mercy. Like if they,
I mean, unless they're offering the pedophile, then it's like maybe the Jazz don't want that.
Utah would welcome that.
No, what the
Actually,
Utah?
yeah, Utah, they welcome that
Utah?
crap.
Utah?
They got our next
They're giving
item
him a
next to
discount.
Carmelo. They're giving him a discount. They're getting
We'll do it straight up, guys. Don't worry.
yeah, marketing for God damn it, I'm blanking on his
Giddey?
name. Giddy.
Marketing for Giddy. Hey, we'll throw in a couple first.
Dude, it's Carmelo and he's white.
Get him up here.
Best parts of Carmelo plus he's white. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a double deal, but I just don't see it happening, to be honest. I just don't. But I mean, as in the front office, Dunleavy Jr., my brother, this kind of is like your only move at this point. Like I feel like they should be going all in for marketing, unless I guess I don't know what else could be going on in their mind right now. Like, what other possibility is there? I mean, we're
No, I
struggling.
mean, I think that they're well aware of it, and they probably already had discussions, and they probably already called. And often with stuff like this, it takes, like, again, this is like, I'm not that I'm trying to materialize it. I still don't think it's realistic, but it's not like this stuff happens in a day. Like it often takes weeks of negotiations. So it's not like the second that Siakam's going to get traded. If we haven't gotten Laurie, we're never going to get him. I mean, the trade deadline's still not for a minute, but yeah. I mean, I said like whenever the last time we were talking about it was, I didn't think it was very realistic we would get either of them.
You prefer
Again, just because I prefer Markkinen. But at the end, I said, despite that, despite the fact that I think the team should pursue them, despite the fact that I do think there's an outside shot we get one of them, I would say the most realistic option is that we get neither. But that doesn't mean I don't think we shouldn't try to add something or somebody.
But that's the thing. Okay, so let's say the
The third option,
yeah,
the third option was Jeremy Grant. That was the idea.
Can we even afford his contract though?
Yeah, we could.
I mean, Laurie.
That's why we'd that's why we'd send CP3 to contract match.
Yeah, I guess honestly, Jeremy Grant, I could, because they're both major rebuilding teams. Well, so were the Raptors though. You know what I mean? So what did the Raptors get in return for Siakam?
There's like
They
current players. I think got like Nembhard. They obviously
And they got Bruce Brown, right?
Bruce Brown.
They got Bruce. It was the picks, really. I mean, that was what it is, really. I mean, because even Bruce Brown, like that's a guy who his role is he's not part of rebuild. He's supposed to be a role player on a good team.
Yeah.
He might get redealt, honestly, by the deadline. I wouldn't be shocked.
Where does this place the Pacers now? I'm really excited for them. I'm really, really excited.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I don't like have confidence in that system to even with the addition of Siakam because of the way they play. I don't have confidence for that system to translate into like a championship level defense in the playoffs. I still think they'll get victimized a little bit on that end, but they could definitely give somebody an exciting series.
I mean, we saw with the Nuggets that you just need a dominant offense. You don't necessarily need a great defense. Like, they'll have an okay.
Nuggets defense was like top 10.
Was it? Oh, I thought it was like the first. I thought it like broke that chain of like needing a top 10 offense. But I mean, either way, I could still see the Pacers having a top 10 offense with their new personnel. Like before, I could not see it because they just don't have like a good defensive wing. But Siakam is kind of that guy that could defend Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Giannis in the playoffs. But
I mean, I'm excited to see how they unfold.
Yeah, I mean, my concern would be like in the playoffs, the game tends to transition into more of a half court game. Possessions move slower, the game moves slower. In an offense like the Pacers that relies mostly on being fast paced and attacking quickly and trying to catch teams sleeping in transition and stuff, might face obstacles that they weren't facing in the regular season. But I mean, to be fair, like we've seen the Warriors offense, which flows very fast, have plenty of success in the playoffs. So
I mean,
true, but we also had
we'll see.
Two of the greatest shooters of all time.
Tyrese is no Steph as good as he is, obviously.
Tyrese is like a great shooter, though, but he's like a 10 times better passer than Steph has ever been.
True.
Especially in terms of like turnover.
What? Wait a second. 10 times better passer than Steph has ever
10
been.
times an over exaggeration, but a better passer. That's his point.
He's like a legit passer. Like.
I think it's still too much of an exaggeration. I think realistically Tyrese is like a tier of passer above Steph.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
not. It's not like.
Yeah, actually, like at their best, then yeah. Like
yeah,
Tyrese
it's not like.
He could be the engine.
I don't know.
Eventually.
Yeah.
I don't think this year, but like, I think he's like.
Oh, he could easily.
Yeah. What else is there to? You guys want to go over individual games or?
I think.
Yeah, I mean, that one.
Yeah, I guess
this is a Warriors podcast, right? Might as well.
I think let's start with
The thing with me is that they're kind of all have a similar storyline where our defense is kind of just what let us down.
But here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Against the Grizzlies, then what like, Dre was back, right?
I will say with the Grizzlies game, we did give up the least points we've given up in 5 games.
But there was like, if you watch the game, there was like bad hustle. It's just,
Yeah, no, there was.
But I will say
Also-
Draymond's impact was very apparent. It was immediate. Like
He did play well.
like he stopped.
He played well.
He stopped JJJ a couple of times. Like his defense is super duper apparent.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr, I don't know why he subbed him out when he did.
Another thing, I've been saying in the chat.
I just can't wrap my head around that.
Another thing I said, I honestly felt like, and I said this a couple episodes. This time, 1,000% sure I said a couple episodes that
I actually don't think you've discussed. I think you discussed this with us like at dinner. Remember?
No. I'm very confident I said this.
I'm not sure you brought this up on the pod, but we can always go back and check.
True, but you guys can vouch for me. I did say this, if on the pod or to you
Yeah, you
guys,
did.
that
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
don't think it was
Kerr
on
is
the pod.
losing his touch. He's losing his touch. And again, it's just one of those things where, I was able to pick it up, but I couldn't articulate it. You know what I mean? But it's unfolded now that he clearly has lost some touch. Wes made a good point. Maybe it's just a new system, new players. We got a
I made that point.
completely new. No, it was Wes. It was Wes. In the chat, it was Wes. It was for sure Wes who said that.
I mean, my point wasn't even just it's new players. It's like, oh, okay, this player has this reputation, but he's playing like this, as in like Andrew Wiggins. Or this player has like Podziemski, who's a rookie, he has a low reputation, but he's playing like well above his reputation. So it's kind of hard to stagger those.
But still,
minutes.
how does that make it okay to sub out Steph and Trey for a huge chunk of the fourth?
I mean, yeah, that's definitely a problem. But like, there's so many guys where like it's kind of hard to like do these guys mesh well together? Will they not? Do we have any five guys that can defend? Like,
I mean, I guess, but it's like Kerr. It's like we're like almost ish at the halfway point. It's been we're 22 and 18. Quick maths. That's 40 games.
Yeah.
So we're literally
basically
we're basically at the half point. You gotta know your players at the halfway point of the season, dog.
how many games does Draymond miss? How many games has GP2 missed? How many games has CP?
true. What
true, but
it's
Go
true,
ahead,
but
Travis.
well, I
Like,
mean,
yeah.
I think the
We had to get
the
Brandon
answer
Clarke.
would be the answer would be that for Steve Kerr, as difficult as the situation is to manage and to control and to adjust to, the contention by people, and I think this is a growing contention within the fan base. There's more and more people who are coming to this conclusion, is that Steve Kerr seems to be uniquely poorly suited to figuring out when part of his rotation gets tweaked, or when a guy is missing time, or all of a sudden starts playing badly. He seems to be uniquely clueless as to how to adjust the rotation and account for that. There seems to have been many lineups that were working together that he, for some reason, decided to, and often this happens right in the middle of a game, in the middle of a run, something like that, that he decides to break up for seemingly no reason. There was that Clay and Pods at the end of the third quarter a couple games ago, where
Was that
Clay
the-
and Pods were just might have been.
No, actually, I think it was the Raptors. They cut it to 9 after being
Yes.
like 20
Yes.
something, and then
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes.
to end
Let's
the
see, yeah.
subbed them out, and then they went on a
They
run.
cut it to they cut it
I thought it was 9 or 8.
to what? They cut it to 12 after being down by like 22. So they made a 10-2 run, and Clay and Pods were just absolutely shredding the Raptors. And boom, he subs them out with like 2 minutes left in the third. There's no reason. Neither of those guys are even close to bumping up on a minutes restriction. Neither of those guys have been playing for like the whole quarter. I think maybe Clay had, but still. I mean, it's an NBA player.
He's
He can
hot.
play for a
He's
whole
hot.
quarter.
Exactly. He's hot too.
He's hot. You keep him in. And again, and then the same thing, like you see like a just random bizarre decision, like I mean the game is close. Neither Dre nor Steph are, I think they were both at like maybe like 29 minutes at that point. If they played the full 7 minutes, I think maybe they would have both gotten Dre with less. Dre's probably at like 22 or something. He maybe would have gotten up to like 29 minutes if he played the whole game. Steph might have gotten close to like 35, 36. But still, like, we need to win every game. We're not the 1 seed. We need to win these games. Sometimes you're going to have to play Steph 36 minutes, especially when it's clear that it's a close game. And if you tweak anything, it could slip out of your hands. And guess what? When you sub out your 2 best players, immediately they went on a run. We go down 9 points. By the time he puts them back in, the game finishes at 9. I mean, it's absurd. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, it's
And there's so
certainly-
many of these little decisions that
And I think it's just
Just
as you were
don't
saying in
make
the
any
chat,
sense.
it's just one of the many problems. Obviously, the main blame doesn't fall on Kerr for our season mishaps,
absolutely.
but it's just another piece to a lot of the struggles, and it's really, really unfortunate. It's just like I don't even know. Like honestly, I think, and as you're saying, like we're in the theme of like going over the games. It's just been the defense, and also it's been extremely inconsistent offense too. You know what I mean? Like we
It
said,
has been.
last game, Steph had a really good
They're
one.
kind of like they're intertwined a little bit. Like if your defense is bad, then you're gonna have less energy on offense. It's all mixed together. And I think it starts with the defense that's causing our offense to be worse than it kind of already would be.
Good
But-
defense leads to good offense. I totally agree with that. And I think with Dre back, Thomas made a good point that, Saric he's bad defensively. Unfortunately, he's not a good rim protector. He's not even a good defender. He just gets bullied. Now it's a good point to think about. Like, is it that he's a negative then, Thomas? That's what you were saying. Because offensively, he's hooping. He is really hooping offensively.
Exactly. My assessment of him, and this is, I think, grown as the season has gone on, and it's like you start to watch him more closely on defense because the narrative has started to build around him already about how bad of a defender he is, and you start to watch, and then you start to notice, wow, yeah, like there's a lot of plays where if you just track him around, like running around the court on a defensive possession, like whatever breakdown occurs starts with him, whether it's him directly getting beat off the dribble or getting bullied in the post or missing rotation or something. Like he clearly disrupts team defense by being on the court. And again, I want us to give him minutes, but if there's one guy who I think I would hope Draymond's return transitions into a smaller role, it would probably be Saric, because he's been playing like 20 minutes or something a game for us or more. And I think you can put a decent amount of, the defensive disasters that we've seen. You can put a decent amount of that on the fact that he's playing 20 minutes a game for us. Like, I don't really think having Dario Saric on the court for 20 minutes is compatible with being even like a top 15 defense. Because there's very few combinations of players who could surround him that would create like a top 15 defense.
But I think with Dre back, him and Saric on the floor at the same time,
I would hope that would kind
that
of
would
work.
be
I feel
that
like
would be
that
interesting.
could.
I would love to see that.
And obviously it's only been one game since Dre's been back, but I'm interested to see that dynamic. How maybe Dre being there, helping Saric out on defense a lot more, could lead to less defensive disasters. But I still don't see it enough as enough, because how many minutes is Wiggins averaging?
Dude,
No.
he's down to what? Let's see.
Last game he had 31, 16 points.
26 on the season. Probably less recently. When the season started, he was playing.
I don't know. I just think I just feel like this is just us repeating ourselves at this point for this episode. Like I feel like we've covered all the main problems. It's just like, what can you do? I guess there's not much you can do. If we get Lauri Markkanen, do we see ourselves as championship contenders?
Yes.
Objectively.
Yes.
Objectively.
I do.
Yes.
I think that solves a lot of
Yes.
our problems. Like our
Yes.
offense will be like legit. Steph will have a legit co-star. Clay will be a third option now. And then Wiggins will be like a fourth option. I think it just
Wiggins
like,
is no option. Wiggins is no
Wiggins
option.
will be Wiggins is not an option.
Yeah, I'm the fifth option after Wiggins. The fourth option is Wiggins. Fifth option is me.
yeah, but I think it like slots everyone pretty perfectly and I think Laurie can be like where he comes in with a bad reputation as a defender, but then Draymond can kind of make him into like a serviceable defender where he's not like just like kind of lazy on defense. Like I think if he commits himself, he has the tools to be an all right defender. I think like Wiggins.
Yes, he does.
Draymond
He has the tools, but here's the problem. Then it's like
never been in a situation with a guy like Draymond.
True. And then look what happened to the Wiggins, for example. He's a prime example. Wiggins became a very good defender.
Yeah.
My problem is this: you're kind of banking on a lot, though, because let's say he comes and he doesn't improve defensively, then our defense still sucks.
I mean, he's still an all right defender. He's just not like
Again, the problem is though our defense sucks. So if we get an all right defender, it's not like our defense is getting much
then
better.
our offense I think would be like top. I could easily say like top 10, top 5, maybe even, just because like the shooting would be insane with Laurie, and Laurie moves off ball, which is very unusual for like a big man who can shoot. He moves off ball, which kind of just like meshes so well with our offense. Like I think no matter what, like his defense, that's like definitely pretty hypothetical that it'll work, but offensively, I think it's like a sure thing that with the guys we already have, it'll be pretty solid. So I think there's that.
And with Markkanen, our starting five. So first of all, we have Markkanen. We're offering picks, obviously, but
Kuminga.
are we offering any players? We're offering Kuminga as well. You guys think so?
Yes.
Offense.
Yes, absolutely.
Everyone but Steph, right? That's the mentality. Gotta have.
So we're offering Kaminga,
Uh,
picks, and CP3 or not? Not even CP3.
that's that's the idea, I think. And it might have to be 3 to match the value that Siakam's now established for himself.
Interesting.
But I
And
think the players we would be offering are more than like Bruce Brown and Nemhart. Like I think Kaminga is
That's true.
value than those guys.
That's true. I mean, it could be 2.
Yeah, like 2 picks, Kaminga, CP, I guess.
but I mean, Kaminga's been hooping, man.
He has, but
He's been really hooping last couple of games.
And then he has, I mean,
He's
the last
streaky,
game might
he's
have been his worst
streaky.
game of the season, to be quite honest. The last game, that was embarrassing.
Against the
Some of those
Grizzlies?
minutes that he was giving us against the Grizzlies, it was terrible. Just some of, I mean,
I don't remember.
some of those
I think
shots,
some of his shots were
decisions.
atrocious, but I don't think it was his worst game of the season. Like he had some
It
terrible
was,
plays.
to me, it was his worst game of the season. Like he had a couple put, like what, like we're just, I was completely clueless as to what he was doing. A couple of those attempts at putbacks, just a couple drives. I mean, well, again, like it's the same thing. It's drives that go nowhere, but like they were especially bad. He just really looked like he was playing so out of control. He had a couple tough turnovers. He got ripped once. I remember down the stretch.
Yeah.
I have more blame Steph.
I don't know. Like that game kind of soured me. I mean, obviously, like it's a prisoner of the moment thing, but the fact that he still has those kind of games in him is very unfortunate.
Okay, but he's also a third-year player.
I mean, it's true.
I mean, I think
But,
you could sell it to
I mean, the
Jazz.
Warriors clearly can't wait on him. So
Hmm.
I think you could sell it to the Jazz by saying like, okay, you don't like you're in a rebuild and you don't have like your Cade Cunningham or the guy that you're planning to build around. Like Laurie, as great as he is, I think he can get marginally better. Like at 30, like you said, he can
Yeah,
be.
he's a little bit too old for I think a
I
star
don't
of a
think-
rebuild.
I don't think he could be the guy in a championship team. But if you get Kaminga, then that, not saying he's the guy, but he can be like a co-star to the guy. Once you find that guy, he kind of more fits the timeline of like whoever they end up thinking is their guy to actually win it all. So I think that's why Kaminga would have to be included in a trade, and you could entice the Danny Ainge with Kaminga. So
Yeah, I think that would have to be some sort of trade package. I would agree with that. Like, I honestly think they may even throw in Moody, like a Kaminga, Moody, and picks type trade.
I mean, yeah, the Warriors coaching staff clearly doesn't see much in Moody, even though he consistently gives us decent minutes.
I mean, no,
So
like
maybe
Mike,
they
Mike,
would be more willing to deal him than I
like it
would.
was reported that Mike was saying, or Dunleavy. How do you say his last name? Dunleavy.
Dunleavy.
Dunleavy. Yeah, it was reported
Yeah.
that he was saying that they haven't ruled out trading Kaminga and Moody, but they do value them. I mean, that's what a front office is gonna say. Obviously, not gonna be like, man, these boys trash. They suck. Obviously, they're gonna value them, but I don't know. I personally see like a Moody Kaminga trade with picks.
I mean, after the Grizzlies game, Draymond was saying in his podcast, like we played defense with like no pride or no hustle. Like we were not like there was no pride with how we played. And Moody
Bro,
is like
Draymond's gotta stop recording podcasts for a little bit. Let's
No,
focus.
that wasn't the podcast. That was him in his post game press conference. What just like said.
Oh, okay.
but Moody's like one of the only guys on our team that actually like no matter what. I mean, other than GP2, I guess, but like no matter what, he actually plays like every possession like it's his last, and like even like our good defensive players like Draymond or I'm trying to
Give
think.
Guy Santos 4 minutes. Or wait, no, was it him or
Let's
Quinones?
He Santos.
Dude, give Quinones more possessions. That guy plays defense like there's somebody holding a gun to his head.
Yeah, his
He
job.
plays with his job. Yeah, it's
job is on the
literally-
goddamn line.
Dude, he plays with so much energy. It's kind of insane.
Like we have no guys
But
like our main guys are not playing like that, unfortunately. Like Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Looney.
You think guys mentally they've accepted that like
I mean, at least Draymond does still.
you think
Draymond came out
you think they've accepted that like we're not winning it this season? Because that's what it seems like to me. That's what it seems like to me though. Because I don't see the same energy. What's your guys' reaction to Steph and Clay's reaction to getting booed? Did you guys see the press conference of
Steph
Clay
did.
and Trey? Steph answered it like an absolute champion. Clay, I don't care. I don't care.
Didn't Clay get
Facts, dude.
like he got
Like,
freaking
dude, you know what though? Dude, literally, if you're going to Warriors games, to boo Klay Thompson, you have a problem.
No, they were booing because they were
If-
down like 30 or 40
Who
to the
gives a fuck, dude?
for
Why are you
halftime.
booing him?
Because he's
Why
playing
are you like? What is wrong with you?
because he's playing like shit, bro.
Like,
You guys are an
who
infallible.
cares,
Have
dude?
flaws.
Dude, if infallible, dude, you boo players when they've like wronged your team somehow.
Clay has
You boo like the Astros because they cheated in the World Series. You boo like fucking
that
the
rotation play.
Dodgers when you're the Giants fan or whatever. How could you? Doesn't even make any sense to me. It's
I
just
think I got something in the middle.
Well, they're not
Are you a
playing-
fan
I-
of this specific Warriors
right.
team? Are you a fan of the 2023-2024
Right,
Warriors?
right.
Or are you a fan of
I'm
the
like
Warriors
in the middle.
over
I'm
their
in
whole
like
history?
my whole take on
You
this
can't
is
do
I'm
it.
kind of in the middle. I agree. I don't think you could boo your players. I was as big of a hater as I am. I would never boo them because, dude, at the end of the day, yeah,
Actually,
they're
I
struggling this season,
can't see
but
myself.
they've made this franchise.
Just
But on the
literally,
flip
like,
side though, on the flip side,
we're the worst fucking
on the
franchise
flip
in the
side,
league before we.
on the flip side, I also think that there should be some criticism. It should not just be all, I don't care. I don't care. Well, Clay, there's a problem, brother. If people are booing you, there's some sort of problem, right? And Steph's answer, again, there's a reason why Steph is just amazing. Everyone freaking loves him because his answer, which I think Steph's answer was too soft. Like Steph should have said, like, as a fan base, you should not be booing your players unless we did something wrong, like objectively wrong. You know what I mean? Like Thomas said, you cheated
Exactly.
or whatever.
cheating.
However,
Well,
Steph's
people are booing
point-
Josh Giddey now. For
fair, which is
example,
fair. Yeah, that's great. But the problem is Clay's response shows what? There's no like remorse whatsoever about what's going on. Steph's response showed he feels bad. He's like he said was, I mean, fans can't cheer for nothing. What else are they gonna do? Which I think was too soft. Like Steph should not say that. Like you should not. There's no reason to boo your team. There's no reason to ever boo your team unless they do something objectively wrong. However,
that's the thing, like, I don't, because I don't even necessarily agree with that. Like, okay, so for example, just going back to baseball. So, Mets this year, they had this huge free agent class. They signed a bunch of guys. They're supposed to be great, and then they sucked. They were fucking terrible. Well, they were like a little bit worse than mid, but it was like bad enough where like it was clear they weren't making the playoffs. And then their fans were booing them, and people gave them shit over it. But I wasn't too broken up about it because I was like, first off, a lot of these guys that they're booing just got on the team this year. It's their first year on the team. They were brought in. They were given like $150 million, like Lindor and people, and and they're expected to win. And now they're playing like garbage. Like, okay, you booed them.
no,
maybe.
I still disagree with that, Thomas.
But players.
But that's not
again,
consistent, Thomas.
but then this is getting back. This is getting back to the other point. Players who have won you 4 championships, like you have no excuse. There's just no
No,
reason.
so then can we boo Wiggins by that logic?
$110
million player.
He won us a ring, dude. Won us a ring.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Won the
mean,
ring.
can you boo Poole if you like last season when he was with us?
I mean, I wouldn't have.
Okay.
Won us the ring, dude. What are you?
No, I agree. And I agree. I don't think you ever boo your players because I think it shows the state of a franchise if its own fan base don't support their players and are booing their players, then it's like, what's the dynamic here? It's like, in a household, a mother, father don't support their children type thing. It's like there's something chronically wrong in that situation. Because inherently, fans love their players no matter what. Fans always defend their players no matter what. They have a bias for their players. But if those same fans who have biases or inclined towards their players are booing them, there's some chronic problem. I also think the Warriors franchise is a bunch of casuals too, like a bunch of freaking bandwagons. That's another factor.
Can you fucking imagine, dude? There's some people have to sit down every day and watch the Charlotte Hornets. Like, imagine, dude. Talk about being fucking spoiled, dude.
Yeah,
it's.
I mean, there's some
I'm sorry.
fans who sit
You
and
asked
watch
me, it's a bunch of fucking
8
tech
hours
bros who don't understand the rules of basketball.
No, but
But are just upset that the Warriors aren't winning every game.
I totally agree. And there's I mean, can you imagine being a fan of a cricket team? You watch them for 8 hours and they just suck. Baksan's been losing for the last goddamn 6-7 years. Last time we won a trophy was 7 years ago. Back-to-back finals, we lost. Can you imagine being that fan? So you're right, Warriors fans. That's why, for me, it just didn't make sense to boo your players. It just did not make sense to me. Because as a dude who sits in front of a TV for 8 hours to watch me lose and get thrashed by India, I still don't really boo my players. Because you got to back them up. You got to back them up. You critique them. You let them know, yo, yo, Wiggins, you fell off a cliff. Your Wiggins are your kids, your own kids. But I still support Wiggins when he wears that Warriors jersey. And here's the problem. Like Thomas was trashing CP3. I don't even trash CP3, even though I'm not a big fan of him.
I would boo him because he's never won us anything.
But see,
But that's my personal
that's my
criteria.
problem. That's my problem.
That's my
take. I disagree with that.
Personal criteria.
I completely disagree with that. If a player is your player, you support them till the day they leave. It's like
That's fair. I mean,
your own
I
kid.
respect that opinion far more than I do some loser who's booing Klay
Yeah,
Thompson or
absolutely.
Steph or whatever.
But you know, a big factor of that is, dude, it's just a bunch of casuals. Like you're right, just
It
tech
really
bros,
is.
tech bro casuals. We have probably the biggest casual fan base, other than the Lakers. Probably not. Probably even
Also,
higher than
because
the Lakers.
every ticket costs like $20,000, so that's the only people who can even get into the games.
Yeah, it's a bunch
But
of
you know, I mean,
Indians,
that's
a bunch
separate
of
conversation.
Asians,
but-
just a bunch of Asians, South Asians, East Asians. It's just a bunch of.
Just
freaking-
for our listeners, the person saying this right now is Asian, so he can't say that, although he probably shouldn't.
No, I could say I'm Asian. So that's the problem. So that, and although I still didn't like Clay's reaction, respectfully, Clay, you gotta have a little bit of remorse about the situation, you know. But again, also Clay's always been that type of personality. He's never been like a well-articulated dude like Steph. Like Steph is a goddamn. He
Wait,
should be a speaker.
Like literally got lectured about like his negativity in the locker room and how it's like negatively affecting how they play, and he's kind of just back to like saying that was kind of just like the wrong thing to say at that point. Like Steph, maybe he shouldn't like have about the fans that much slack, but like I still think you should take it on the chin and be like, all right, like say the right thing. Like next time we got to
They
do
should
better.
have held up the floor.
Do you guys see how that's like?
He starts like trash talking the fans for.
Dude, I still like it.
It's way back.
I don't care, dude. People can clown him for it no matter what. I don't care, dude. He's still right, and it still means something.
Goddamn, does PD got like a vitamin station in the back? What's going on?
Just damn near.
Got cancer or something, dog? I apologize to the fans at home. His roommate just like got like 18 different pills from the cabinet, bro. Anyways, I apologize. But anyways, back to my point was, I genuinely think that it's Jover. It's not over. It's Jover. It's Jover for the season, and I think it's honestly Jover for the Warriors franchise in general. And this is not like a recency bias type thing. Is at this point, I think it's over. And even if we get Laurie, I'm telling you guys from right now, I don't think we still win a chip with Laurie. Do we improve drastically? Yes, but I don't think we win a chip even with Laurie. I just think this team is too mentally damaged. The chemistry is damaged. And I think our boys are old. They're honestly getting older. I don't know. I just think it's a really bad time. I think there's a lot of dark years to come.
Shit, the
I think
karma.
it's start of dark years to come. But you know, honestly, I'm used to it as a Barcelona fan. Like, oh my God, we just lost 4-1 to Real Madrid in a final. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like Pakistan cricket shambles. Literally, oh my God. I can't even start on that. I can't even start on that. So as a guy, sorry, wait, what?
Cheaper. Like during that bad season, the tickets were pretty cheap, so we can kind of.
I mean, that we can get season tickets. Watch a bunch of young guys play. But yeah, I think it's over. And I feel like, do we have anything else to add? Because I feel like we're kind of repeating ourselves at this point.
Okay, look, let me here's how I think the Warriors can win a championship this year.
I can tell you. So Jordan, go ahead.
So here's how it starts. It starts with Steph breaking out of, again, is it a slump? Is it just the way that he plays now? If it's just the way that he plays now, I think that pretty much rules it out. So for starter, we have to assume this is just a prolonged slump. And he has gone on pretty long slumps before in his career, so it's not impossible. He breaks out of it and goes back to averaging like 31, 32 points on good efficiency. Step one. Step two. Klay continues to string together. And again, because I think over this last about 10 or so stretch of games, Klay Thompson has managed to not be like the top 3 on the list of problems. Like, I know his attitude is a problem, but his play on the court, he's been scoring like 70 points a game on good efficiency. That's what you can expect from him. He hasn't been getting cooked on defense. Like, I think the on-off numbers are fairly decent for him too. So that we just need him to continue. And third, we obviously need Lauri Markkanen. That's another thing that probably won't happen, but it could. Fourth, we need Draymond Green to jujitsu mind trick, or no, what the fuck, Jedi, what I say, a combined real life.
Don't say
Star Wars.
jujitsu.
To
Don't
Jedi
say-
mind trick.
Don't say jujitsu. He'll actually use it on the court.
That's true. Yeah, he said like Jedi mind trick, fucking motivate all the team to match play defense somehow. I mean, he could do it. He's Draymond, right? And if those four things happen, we might have the recipe for at least a team that looks like it can contend. So that's my final pitch. I just had to put that out there into the world to try to manifest it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the manifestation, but I don't think we get Laurie, and that's a huge piece of it. I don't see us getting Laurie, and then what? What's the difference then? We're just back to our same old. We have about 2 weeks. February 8th is the deadline, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
happening.
mean,
It's
Do you
unfortunate.
guys think it's necessary that we make a big splash, or is it possible to like improve around the margins? You know,
I
instead of
think
bringing
we need
I
a
mean,
big
I would
splash.
still love us. I would still love us to go to after Jeremy Grant. I think that
I
would
mean, but
shore up some
that
things.
is a big splash though.
Yeah, that's.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Like,
Bro said, do you guys think we
I mean,
that?
well, look,
I mean,
dude,
not
okay,
really. Oh, LeBron
to be
James on
fair.
the Warriors would be really
okay, wait,
nice.
whoa, okay.
Hey, do you guys think we
I
need
mean,
a
to
big
be fair,
splash?
okay, first off, Jeremy Grant does clear LeBron all time. Jeremy Grant does clear LeBron all time, first off. But let's not act like LeBron James and Jeremy Grant are moves of equal proportion.
Okay, but the point is, a top player in the league. Like Jeremy Grant's what, like top 25, top 20?
He'd be like our third.
Eh,
second or
top
third.
third, top 35, maybe top 40. He's like he's good, but he's never given valuable minutes to a good team, mostly because he's never been on a good team. And that's not really by like his fault. He just got dealt to the Pistons right when they sucked, and then got dealt to the Blazers right when they sucked. So
And he's gonna get dealt to the
like-
Warriors right when they suck.
so
But okay, well, sorry. On the last note, can I share my screen, Wes? I think this is like the heave 3 I was trying to talk about that Thomas was not sure. If you could let me look at the
Okay,
dictatorship. I left for 2 weeks and I can't even share my screen anymore. There's like an arrow on the side of the share screen button, and it says allow all.
Do
Okay,
not
wait.
know.
Okay, so do you see share screen on the bottom?
Oh yeah.
Hover your mouse to it, and then on the right there should be an arrow. Click that arrow, and there should be something like give permission or something.
Can you do it now? Or
I
no?
could. All right. You guys can see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is like the heave 3 I was talking about, Thomas.
Dude, I love
wait,
it.
no, this is not what I'm talking about.
No, wait, hold
Sorry,
on.
I remember what the shot looked like.
That's not what you're talking about.
No, that one looked a little bit cleaner. It's like where he like I think he
But I
curls his
feel like
wrist like
this
this
one,
towards the
like
basket.
I feel like this one it was kind of like a heave too because he's leaning backwards in a way. He
I guess
kinda
maybe,
looks
I
like
guess
he's
maybe a
leaning-
little bit.
I don't
He
know.
probably got
But-
good lift, though. I think he got good lift.
Yeah, true. But okay, I think I feel like we should record next after we play the Jazz and then the Mavericks on Friday. Oh, so when do you
Yeah.
think we're gonna play the Jazz? Like tomorrow or something, or like what?
Well, I was thinking so if you look at the schedule, like we have an off day on Thursday. Well, I guess an off day tomorrow. Then we play the Mavericks on Friday, but then we have 4 days off after that. We would. So what I think is they're
yeah.
probably going to put the Jazz game somewhere in between there. So we only end up with like 2 days off during that stretch.
The Jazz play tomorrow. They play OKC tomorrow.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, so exactly. So it'll almost certainly be in somewhere in that stretch.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I would bet.
Yeah. Okay. So
But then the Jazz play Houston on Saturday in Houston. So they're going to
you
Magic?
can leave that to
Good
Adams.
bit.
Adam Silver could figure that out. That's not my job.
I think-
He can figure it out. But
I think you could probably
I think
fit it in on
that's-
Monday. But I
yeah,
don't know.
probably. I think that's a good point to end the episode. It's Cope episode number. Are we going with
Two.
3 guys? 3.5?
Two.
No, this is like
Whatever
our.
the
This is
number
this is
fucking
our.
we-
This is,
whatever number.
we had
dude.
one Cope episode, then we had a 0.5 Cope episode.
yeah. So
This is like a
after-
two. There's like 3 Copes. One of our assistant coaches died. We're sucking, and we didn't get Siakam.
but we're gonna get Laurie.
Yeah.
I don't
We're
know.
gonna get Laurie,
Just
though,
put
so
episode
it's all
Cope
good.
episode 2.5. 2.5.
Okay.
All right.
Alright.